Welcome back to another episode of the Philosophy Podcast. I am your host, Controversy, which you already know. And to my right, ladies and gentlemen, my co-host, none other than Mr.
Darren Love. He makes me sound famous.
And together, we are the Philosophy Podcast. Thank you to you guys for tuning in once again this week. Thank you for tuning in, of course, to a brand new episode. And yeah, like we always say, without further ado, what is on the agenda for today, mate? What is today's hot topic?
I thought we'd talk about ambition.
Ambition. That's a great one. That's a really good topic to talk about, I think. So this week we're talking all about
ambition.
Gotta be ambitious. So what are your thoughts and your ideas about ambition then, mate? You have the floor first. What are your thoughts?
Well, I don't think without ambition it's not really worth living, really, is it? In a kind of way, you know.
That's a good way.
I think you've got to have ambition.
I like that. I like that.
You know, you've got to get out of bed and do things.
Got to have purpose. Purpose.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. I think you summarised it well, mate. That's great.
Yeah, you've got to do something about your life. I think.
Well, yeah, but only us as individuals can change it. Can't lay around and sit in bed and think, oh, tomorrow my life's going to change and not do anything. It's like, that's why I even say to people, like, you can say as much affirmations and as much prayers as you want about certain stuff. But if you're not willing to apply yourself and put any work in or do anything, it's like me saying, okay, tomorrow I want to be a footballer. And just sleeping every day on the bed and eating junk food all day long. Say, oh yeah, I'm going to be a professional footballer. It would never ever happen. You have to apply the work. You have to put the work in. That's the only way. That's the only way shit in life. That's the only way shit works. You know, is if you put the work in. You know?
Like if you want to write a book.
Yeah.
You've got to get a pen out and do it.
Yeah, or computer, and you have to write the book. If you don't write the book, you can't say I'm an author. It's like me. I'm an artist. I make music. I couldn't call myself an artist, in my eyes anyway, or my opinion, if I'm not making any music, if I'm not being creative or being productive or doing anything towards working towards my goal as an artist, I wouldn't even call myself an artist. If you see what I mean, like, you know. So it's about putting the work in, you know, having goals, having drive, having, you know. You just got to be disciplined and consistent. That's all it is. If you want to be successful in any realm of human kind of endeavor or life, however you want to put it, you just have to be consistent and disciplined. That's all it is. Someday you're not going to wake up every day and feel like you want to take over the world and you don't wake up every day feeling like you want to go to work. But you still get, well, most people still get up and go to work. So you're not always going to be motivated. It's about being disciplined and consistent, saying to yourself, listen, I don't want to do this, but I am going to do this regardless, and get on with it. Handle your shit, handle your responsibilities, look after your family, whatever. Like, you know, it's just, that's what I'm saying. Like, sometimes it's all good saying, you know, motivation. Yes, some days you wake up and you're fired up and you're ready to take over the world and you say, I'm going to achieve all my goals today. I'm going to chase my dreams. I'm going to make this shit happen. But not every single day. You're not always going to wake up like that. That's just reality. We're human beings. So if you're disciplined and consistent, you'll do the things that you don't want to do. You'll do the things you don't want to do without even thinking twice about it. If you see what I mean, the more disciplined you become, it's like going to the gym. If someone says tomorrow they want to go to the gym, they want to become stronger, or get a six-pack, let's say, for example, or just whatever, work on their body, yeah? If they don't wake up in the morning and take their ass to the gym, or after work, whenever they choose to go, then nothing's going to happen. You can't just stand there and say, I want a six-pack and expect it to happen. But it's true though, isn't it? I like to give examples and analogies because I just want people to understand this shit. Like, it's really not as hard. Yes, it is hard. Life is hard. Life is hard for everyone.
I've got an 8-pack I have.
He's got 8 pack. Oh yeah, he's got 8 pack of beer in the fridge.
I used to have a 16-pack.
Yeah, what Stella or Carling, mate. Huh?
Yeah, but
it's not that hard. Like I was saying, I'll let you take over. But I just want to say it's yes, life is hard, and sometimes no matter how long, sometimes it takes a long time. But as long as you're disciplined and you're consistent, I promise you, you will see some form of success. You will see some kind of results. Something, even if you do it for 6 months, and then stop. I'm not saying you should stop. I'm just saying even if you do it, you start tomorrow and say I'm going to work out 5 days a week for the next 6 months. You know, in 6 months' time, you would have transformed maybe not only your body but your health. You're going to be breathing better. Because you're used to running and working out all the time, and you're going to be breathing better, you're going to be healthier, you're going to be stronger. So even if then you stop after 6 months, at least you accomplished a goal. You said, okay, I'm going to do this for 6 months and then see what I'm going to do, you know? So, yeah.
I think you can overdo it though, like, you know, I used to take weight training seriously.
Yeah.
You know, I used to do it like every day of the week.
Yeah.
When I was a bit younger.
Yeah.
But I don't think I'd do it today. You know, I don't really want a 6-pack, to be honest with you, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, me neither.
You know, I feel quite strong today, do you know what I mean? But
yeah.
I'm not as strong as I used to be.
Yeah.
And in ambition, really, you know, one thing I think you have got to do is keep strong in life. You know?
Yeah.
And you've got to aim to keep strong.
Yeah.
It's very important, I think. Like we were talking about success once, you know, there's many ways you can look at success, isn't there? Like you can be a successful clown, you can be a successful soldier, you know? What is success really at the end of the day, you know? And I think like at the end of the day it's all to do with being happy.
Yeah.
You know, and I think my personal ambitions really, I want to get happier in life.
Yeah.
You know, that's what I'm aiming at personally, you know? I feel like I'm happier in life than I've used to be, like I've said before, whatever. But I'm aiming to get happier tomorrow, the next day, you know, and I'm trying to work out how I'm going to get happier in a kind of way in life, do you know what I mean? You know, but I think that's really should be everyone's aim, really, you know, to get happy in life. Learn how to respect others as well, people. I think that's really important. You know, a lot of people don't know how to respect.
Yeah,
sadly. They're not being taught,
yeah.
One, you know. And as I say, like compassion, a lot of people haven't got compassion today. They're not being taught.
Yeah.
You know, like at school, there's, you know, don't educate compassion, really.
Yeah.
They don't teach children to love spiders or da-da-da. You know, you can go on and on.
Yeah.
You know, and I think like, so a lot of children, when they leave school, they're uneducated on how to be happy. You know, and I think you need to be educated on how to be happy, really. You know, it takes a wise person, really, basically, to know how to smile in a kind of way about every situation or understand everything in life, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, I'm trying to get wiser in life, you know.
Of course.
Than I already am.
Yeah.
You know, and I do feel pretty wise at the moment, you know, I'm 57 now, you know, and I feel a lot wiser than I did 40 years ago. No, sorry, when I was 40.
Yeah.
I was quite intelligent in many ways, you know, and I knew how to do building a little bit, whatever, you know, but I wasn't intelligent about the world at all, you know. It's only since the internet's come out that I've actually learned about the world around me in a bigger way.
Yeah.
You know, and I think this has happened to everyone around, you know, everyone's learned about the world around them in a bigger way, you know, learning about the truth.
Yeah. And
all this, you know. So, you know, I think like everyone really is aiming to be happy. You know? And how to be happy, how to, you know, in the world we're living in today is very difficult, I think.
Can be. You gotta be a mentally strong person. in today's society. You know, especially if you're just especially if you're just someone that's a working class, even middle class today. People who are considered once middle class are struggling to a degree today. A lot of people, you know. So it's about having a mindset, you know, and also having faith. I think faith is very important for a lot of people. I'm not saying faith generally like in a religious way. I'm just saying having faith that, you know, that no matter what happens, you're going to be okay. Like, you know, as long as you're trying your best and you're doing your best, you know, that's what matters. You know, no one's perfect, and a lot of people are out there today are struggling. You know, they say I read a quote the other day. I think I said it before in one of my previous episodes a while ago, but I read it again the other day. A quote, not a quote, sorry, a statistic. And basically they said that like 1/3 of the UK's population has more than like £12,000 of debt. Like, you know what I mean? And that's a hell of a lot of people, mate. If you think about it, you got 75. They said about 75 million people in the UK. That's roughly about, you know what I mean, about 25 million people. You know what I mean? So you imagine 25 million people, mate, out there, mate, that have got more than 12 grand in debt, mate. And I was gonna say, I'm glad that I'm not one of those people, mate. I can tell you that, but there's so many people out there in that circumstance. I just, you know, that are in, you know, a lot of debt, struggling, you know. So you've got to be a mentally strong person in this world. As long as you're working hard and you're, you know, handling your shit and, you know, paying your rent and, you know, making sure you're straight and your family's good, just keep pushing, you know, things will get better eventually, you know, just, it's not always about how much money you make too. Sometimes it's about money management, you know, this is a whole different topic and conversation for, you know, maybe another episode, but it's also, it's not always about, because some people, they make decent money, but they can't manage their money, and they're still broke at the end of the month, if you see what I mean. They might be bringing home, let's say, okay, they've got people that living in London, let's say, for example, just being random and hypothetical, that might be earning 4 or 5 grand a month, and we know rent is more expensive in London, so let's say they're paying about £1,500 in rent for a decent place, nice 1-bedroom place in London. That's what you're looking at, about 1,500, to be very honest, in this day and age. And then obviously you've got your council tax and other things like that. They might be, after they've paid everything, they might be left with about £1,500 for the month, if you see what I mean. Even though they've paid out a lot of money already, because obviously it's expensive, they might be left with about £1,500 a month. But then they got other things to do as well. But instead of saying, okay, I'm going to save £500 a month out of this money, and just use 1,000 to get by for food and transport and everything else, clothes and whatever else you might need, you know, for you and your family or whatever, they'll splurge all the money, if you see what I mean. They end up spending everything, spending more than, you know what I mean, not saving, you know. So sometimes it's not always about how much money you earn or how much money you get, it's about money management, how you manage your money, you know, because there's got people out there that I tell you that, well, you know, that might be working and only earning £1,500 a month, yeah, but they might be only able to save, let's say, £150, £200 a month, but you've got to be best believe that by the end of the year, that person has saved £150, £200 every month. And at the end of the year, they've accumulated a couple of grand. And if they do that for a few years' time, then they've got a mortgage deposit for a house. So it's all about, you know, or I'm not saying you have to use it for a house, I'm just using that as an example, of course, but it's just about being smart, you know, being, like you said, ambition, you know, that, you know, it comes back down to ambition, you know. It's how much do you want something in life is always a question, because there's a lot of people that want things in life but are not willing to work for it in any way, or not willing to apply themselves, not willing to invest themselves in any way, shape or form, especially when it's a financial thing too. There's a lot of people that are not willing to financially invest in themselves to pursue something. You know, knowing that it might not make money for a few years, you might not get any return on your investment for a few years, but you're looking towards a goal in the future. You're looking towards the, you know, a long-term kind of like mindset, if you see what I mean, hoping that within 5-10 years you will eventually, you know, get your return, you know, your investment plus more because of the investment that you've put in. So yeah, ambition, you know, be driven, you know, be driven within yourself. You know, don't wait for, you don't need someone on the internet, you know, you don't need someone on YouTube, you don't need someone on Instagram or Facebook or any of these social media sites trying to tell you what you should and shouldn't do. Intrinsically, as human beings, we know what we should and shouldn't do and what we have to do. And just because we know what we should do and know what we have to do, doesn't mean we always do it. And that's where the problem comes in. If you see what I mean. So just do what you have to do. You know?
So I think talking about conscience there a little bit, aren't we there?
Yeah.
Where, you know, you've got a right way, a wrong way to choose, don't you? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you always choose the right way, really, don't you? You know, but a lot of people really not being educated in a kind of way, you know, and they kind of don't know what they're doing.
Yeah.
You know, it's like being drunk, really.
Yeah.
When you're drunk, you don't really know what you're doing, and
Yeah.
you probably end up doing a lot of wrong things when you're drunk. You know what I mean?
Intoxicated.
Yeah. What was I talking about?
Doing wrong things when you're drunk and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
you know, doing the wrong thing. You know, it's I say a lot of. I personally think there's a lot of children that leave school not educated about compassion, respect. I mean, respect for one. Yeah, you can only respect others when you learn to respect yourself first. Did you know that? You know, so you got to learn to respect yourself.
Yeah.
You know.
But it's just like you can't love other people without loving yourself first either.
Well, I personally, you know, I don't know whether it's true or not, because my personal experience when I was at school, I was not educated about these things.
Yeah, yeah.
Alright, not by my mum,
yeah,
not by no one.
Yeah.
Not about emotional intelligence.
Yeah.
Not about philosophy. Not about business, really, you know, about how to be self-employed.
Okay.
Things like that, do you know what I mean? They didn't really teach you to be smart. To be honest with you, they didn't teach you to be wise, which they could do.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I was with my children for a number of years, and I tried my best to pump my wisdom into them, you know, like respect. All those like little things, you know.
Yeah.
There's only a few of them, isn't there?
Yeah.
Like empathy. You know, and if you learn those things, I think, at an early age, children will understand what's right and wrong a little bit, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But because they don't.
Yeah.
You know, it's like a lot of children, well, when I was at school, they were cutting up rocks. You know, and I don't find that compassionate at all. I didn't like doing it, you know, personally.
Yeah.
Okay. I think that there's a lot of other people that have got the same view as me.
Yeah.
You know, but like, I find it a little bit evil.
Yeah.
You know, and I kind of find it a little bit evil that they marry 16-year-olds.
Yeah.
When they don't know what they're doing.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I find it a bit distasteful.
Yeah.
Funny enough, you know.
Mm.
And I find it a bit wrong. You know, it's like my mum, she got married when she was 16, but I'm glad she did, because I wouldn't have been born.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, yeah,
Okay, but she was married at 16, for goodness sake, and I don't think you should be about 21 before you get married, you know, do you know what I mean? I think.
Yeah.
You know, I think you need to learn a little bit more about it before you do it, basically, and learn about the politics of it all. There's a lot of politics.
Of course.
Marriage.
Especially in this day and age, it's like a business
Well,
agreement.
when you're 16, you don't know anything. Like
Yeah.
that, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, my mum wasn't even taught about philosophy either or anything, you know.
Yeah.
Or taught about how to love herself.
Mm.
Just, you know, I don't know because my mum is a very kind, respectful person.
Yeah.
So I don't know where she got it from, but I don't think it was from school.
Yeah.
You know, like at school, there's a lot of fighting
Yeah.
going on.
Yeah.
And why isn't there anything done about it? I don't know.
Mm.
You know, I think there's no compassion at
Yeah.
school.
Yeah.
They don't teach it.
Well, I think the world is becoming more and more heartless today. People are becoming more selfish.
Yeah.
Everything's about me. A lot of people out there just are so prideful and so egotistical. They just think the whole world revolves around them. You know, not realizing that there's billions of us here and we're all living on the same planet and we're only here for a short period of time. Humble yourself, because at the end of the day, the only thing that brings every man equal is death. Every man must go. So it doesn't matter what, you don't matter what, you know, how much money you got, etc. You know, eventually, you know, no matter who you are or what you do or what you stand on or what you believe in or whatever the case may be, the thing that, you know, equates us all is death. You know, we're all going to go one day. So humble yourself, you know. You know, humility is
I mean,
very important.
I mean, that's really the purpose of life, to survive for as long as you can.
Of course, yeah.
With a smile.
Yeah.
If you can.
Yeah.
You know.
The goal is to enjoy life and at the same time to grow. That's how I look at it. The goal is to enjoy every day of your life and know that every day that you're alive is a blessing, and at the same time try to grow, you know, and you know, sometimes that might be hard, you know, sometimes it can be hard, you know, depending on what you're going through, your circumstances, your environment, or shit that happens in the world. Sometimes things happen in the world, catastrophic things happen and people, and thousands of people die, millions of people die. You know, sometimes shit happens and people question it and they can't figure out, you know, why it happened and, you know, what, you know, etc. But, you know, you just got to keep going, you know, you've got to try and keep your head high and keep it, like you said, keep a smile on your face, you know.
Survive.
Like Sizzler Kalonji used to say, you know, you can't keep a good man down, you know. Keep a smile on your face even when they want to see you frown, you know. Yeah.
I mean, trees, they can survive for a long time, don't can they?
Mm.